Hey, what's up you guys? Today we're going to talk about The Great Hunt, which is book 2 in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. And this video is going to be completely spoilers. However, it's ensured to hear if you don't know spoilers, you can just mute the tab and let the video run so you don't destroy my watch time if you want. Just saying. Because that always happens when I say the spoilers. It's like watch time, 30 seconds. But anyway, I really enjoyed this book and I think it was maybe better than the first book. I'm not completely sure, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars and I am super excited that I'm still enjoying this series. So I'm going to talk about 3 different sections. I'm going to talk about the world building, then the characters, and then just a lot of scenes that stand out to me from this book, and I have things to say. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, all the usual stuff, and I am just going to get started. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the world building and The Great Hunt. And I love world building. It's one of my favourite things in books. I love to just completely get immersed in a completely new world and really get to know the culture and the language and the people, everything about that. I really love it. And the Wheel of Time is a fantastic series for that because there's so much that goes on. And in this book, we find out a lot more about the Aes Sedai and also the Ogiers. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. I'm sorry about the pronunciations, it's hard. But I really enjoyed getting to know all about the Aes Sedai and the White Tower and the culture there, and learning about the different factions or colours of Aes Sedai that you get. And I really enjoyed just getting to know much more of that with the girls going there and learning about the culture because they are becoming Aes Sedai. It's all really interesting to me. And also my favourite, well, not my favourite, one of my favourite parts of the book was going to the Ogier steadings and just learning about them and their people and how they live. I just really love characters and species and stuff in books that are all about, nature and that are with one, with the trees and all that kind of stuff. So the Ogier are really interesting to me. The steadings just sound like my type of place that I would love to visit. Just like the houses built into the hills and everything like that. I just really enjoy that. And the stuff about the Ogiers, like flirting and how it's down to like the mothers and stuff. I just thought all of that was really cool and I really enjoyed learning about that. And I'm pretty sure we'll get even more of that in the future. But I just really enjoyed that section of the book. Another thing I really enjoyed, this is kind of going to the characters, but also kind of just about the Aes Sedai. I really liked Moiraine keeping secrets and working against some of the other Aes Sedai because, like I said, there's different factions and they have different ideas to handle things. And it was all really interesting to me. The fact that she is kind of working against some of the Aes Sedai in a way. I also really like the mother Amyrlin, who is like the leader of the Aes Sedai, and how she's actually on Moiraine's side, and even though she's like the leader of them all, she can't really trust them either. And I just thought that she was a really cool character, and I really liked how her and Moiraine were working together along with the other one. I can't remember who else was with them, but I just really enjoyed all of that, and I thought it was super interesting how their magic works and the initiations. I'll talk about that later, but the initiations and the portals, I loved all that. So yeah, world building in this book, fantastic, and loved it. When it comes to the characters, I didn't love that in this book that we started off with Mat and Perrin being annoyed at Rand, and then they were separate from him, and then they were scared of him, because my favourite part of book 1 was just like their friendship and all the Edmundsfielders, the 3 boys and Nynaeve and Egwene all together, just their friendship and how they kind of have that banter and everything. I really liked that in book 1, and we didn't get as much of that in book 2 because they were also separate, and then also just like the relationship between the 3 boys isn't as strong because they're kind of scared of Rand because he's the dragon. So I kind of dislike that in a way. I also really wish we got more Perrin. I really liked Perrin's characters. I really liked the stuff with the wolves. I thought that was all really interesting in book 1. And we got a little bit of it in book 2, but not as much. So I wish we had more of that. But obviously I'm assuming we'll get more in the future. I really did not trust Celine straight away. As soon as she came into the story, I was like, I don't trust this at all. And I actually kind of missed the reveal of who she was. It kind of went over my head. And it was only when I watched Murphy Napier's review of book 2, and she also explained that she completely missed it, but then someone, I'm assuming Daniel Green, explained it to her. I was like, oh, okay, I see that now, like I understand it. But that completely went over my head, like the reveal of who she actually was. But yeah, I completely didn't trust her straight away. Like, I think you'd be pretty dumb to trust her in that situation. I was also glad that Tom came back. He didn't play a huge role in this book, but I'm glad that he was back. And I also didn't expect him to actually be dead. I kind of knew that, we built up so much of who he was in book 1 that for him to die that early on would be kind of a waste of a character. So I was not surprised he was back, but I was glad that he was. The character of Damon, the ship captain, I didn't really understand why his chapters were necessary, to be honest. There was only 2 chapters that were really fully about him, and they were so spread out that by the time the second one came about, I was like, who is this? I completely forgot the first one had even happened, and I felt like that was kind of unnecessary. But I'm assuming he plays a bigger part in future books because, you know, we had 2 full chapters dedicated to just him, and then he was there at the end. But if it was only the first 2 chapters was setting up him for the ending, it was kind of unnecessary because we didn't really need all that backstory on him to know that there was a ship captain that Egwene and Nynaeve were trying to get to. So I felt like he was a kind of unnecessary character, but I'm assuming that he will come back in later books and play a bigger role. But yeah, I really like all the characters still. I just wish that we had more of the friendship between the Edmundfielders because I miss that. So some of my favourite scenes, the scene where Rand, Hurin and Loyal were separated from the rest of the hunt group and Rand had to channel the power. I really liked the imagery that was used. I was talking about like him going into like murky water, I'm pretty sure. I can't really remember, it's been a few days now. But I really liked that imagery. I thought that was like really well written and it was very cool. I also thought one of my favourite scenes was Nynaeve in the maze. So when she is becoming Aes Sedai and going through the trials, she goes through 3 different kind of trials. And the first one where she was in the maze was my favourite. I thought the imagery there again was so cool, and I definitely think it would be so cool to see that in the TV show. Just the way it was described was really interesting, and I think like visually it was really appealing, and it would make a really good scene in the TV show if they do a season 2 or whatever. I don't know how this TV show is working, like if season 1 is just book 1, I don't really know, but I really want to see that in the TV show. My favourite chapter overall of all of them was chapter 32, What Might Have Been, and this was the one where they are taken to lots of different dimensions and what like life choices could have changed the way their lives turn out. So it was kind of like a butterfly effect type thing, and I thought that was really cool. I love like parallel universes and, you know, just like the idea of the butterfly effect, like one tiny thing that you do can change your entire life, and I like seeing all the different ways that it would play out, but it would always end the same with Baalzermon saying that he'd won into Rand's ear. I thought that was really cool and I really enjoyed that. I also really liked the group that formed of Egwene, Nynaeve, Elaine and Min in the White Tower. I thought their friendship was really cool and it reminded me of, I say everything's really cool, I'm sorry, and as soon as I say it I know I'm saying it for like the 1000th time, but I really liked just their dynamic, and it reminded me of the dynamic from the first book that I actually missed in this one. So the 3 boys working together and being good friends, the 4 girls working together in this book really reminded me of that. So I really liked that because, like I said, I missed the friendship with the boys, but this one kind of made up for it because it was really fun, and you know that they all really care for each other, and you could tell that they just wanted to look out for each other, especially when all this stuff happened. So that Red Aja Leandrin maybe sold them into slavery. And I thought the main Soldam dynamic, all that stuff was super cool. I should have talked about it in world building actually, but I thought that was all really fascinating. Just the fact that the Aes Sedai and the girls that can channel could be controlled through these leeches, and just like how demeaning it was and everything. I thought it was so sad, it was so fascinating, and I was so worried for Egwene. Like, obviously I kind of knew that they would save her, but I was actually really worried, and I thought this whole section of the book was actually more interesting than the bit with the horn. Like, I was more invested into this storyline than I was into the main storyline of Rand trying to find the horn, because it was just like, I felt like the stakes were even higher in a way, because Egwene was just like so trapped and her powers were so suppressed by this evil woman, and having both groups in the ending and the town at the same time but not fully like knowing each other was there was so nerve-wracking to me. I really wanted them to all just reunite and all be best friends again, but that didn't really happen. But just the fact that, you know, Rand saw Egwene out of the window, oh my god, I just wanted them to be together so bad. I loved when they freed Egwene and she put the collar around the woman that had been controlling her so that she's now controlled. I thought that was so cool. It was like such good vengeance, because it wasn't like violent, like they weren't killing her, but they were basically just like, you done this to us and now we're doing it back to you. And I thought it was really, like, justice was served. You know, I really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was great. And you just saw Egwene get so angry and so mad, and I know that in the future, like, she's going to be so powerful, and that was really interesting. Something I was not expecting was when Ingtar was revealed to be a dark friend, because, to be honest, Okay, he obviously redeemed himself in the end anyway, but I feel like he didn't have much to redeem himself for, other than they said that he was responsible at the start for when someone fired an arrow at Rand. Other than that, he didn't really do anything to hinder their progress or do anything bad. So I was like kind of surprised when he was revealed to be a dark friend, because I'm assuming if you go back knowing that, there's maybe hints that he is like behind the scenes trying to mess things up. But I don't know, I felt like it was a weird reveal, and he obviously redeemed himself, and I was glad of that because, yeah, I just was not expecting it at all for him to be a dark friend. So it was kind of out of nowhere. We need to talk about that final battle. So the whole final battle was so cool. So you obviously had the girls trying to escape at the same time as Rand, and Matt is blowing the horn, and you have like I don't know if they're ghosts or spirits or what, of the past warriors coming back and fighting. You had the white cloaks, like you just had so much going on all at once, and Rand fighting the Dark One in the sky. It was just, there was so much going on. That last 100 pages of the book just went by so fast. I loved it. I could not stop reading it. Literally, like, I felt like I read it in the space of 10 minutes, like that last whole 100 pages. I just flew through it. I loved it. I thought it was a really amazing ending, and I can't imagine many of the other books like having an ending that is that good, because I just felt like this was like the perfect ending to the book. And obviously at the very end, Rand, is like, okay, I am the dragon, it is my destiny, I can't escape it, and I loved that. What I was surprised at the end was that the girls were gone by the time Rand was had woken up, and it was only Min that was left. I really wish that we had a scene of him with Egwene or something, but she was already away by the time he woke up, so that was kind of sad. But obviously their paths will connect again at some point, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that final battle, that final scene, it was just like perfect, and I loved it. So that's pretty much all my thoughts on The Wheel of Time Book 2. I really enjoyed it, obviously, like you can tell from this video. I thought everything was perfect. The only thing I didn't really like was the fact that Rand, Matt and Perrin, their friendship wasn't as strong, but there's plenty more books for them to get that friendship back together, and hopefully that happens, because I really miss their dynamic from book 1. But, people change, the stakes are getting higher, so obviously relationships are going to change. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe. Hopefully I will be reading book 3 next month. I just need to get my hands on it. I'm probably just going to buy it again. And yeah, I'm super excited to get to book 3. So I hope you're here for the journey, and I will see you in my next video.